is Jordan. In this video, you'll learn a Scruggs Style lead for Angelina Baker. I'll play through the tune so you can hear how it sounds, and then after we'll talk technique tips, practice advice, and even go over a few of the licks that you can check out in TuneFox. This is a nice, simple version that is going to be great for beginners, and it can be made even more easy and even more accessible if you use that green difficulty slider, and it's still going to sound cool. This one is also going to be good for intermediate and above players. Playing simple can be great. It can allow us to really focus in on the finer elements of our musicianship, so our tone, timing, and touch. And simple is good for speed. When you want to go at breakneck speeds, it helps to have a little less notes to play. And simple is also good because it can be a springboard for adding in more licks, and you'll always have that safety net of that basic version to fall back on when stuff hits the fan. Lastly here, versatility is good. So a lot of banjo players get comfortable just with playing out of the key of G, G shapes, and some even get a little bit more comfortable with C shapes, but a lot of banjo players, not all, are not too comfortable playing out of D without a capo. So this is going to be a good thing to jump into if you haven't done that before. There's just a lot of sounds and options that open up whenever we take the capo off. All right, I'm going to play through this, and I am going to vocalize the potatoes. Remember, potatoes are played by the lead player who kicks off the tune at a jam, and they help to establish the tempo with which the song is going to be played and lets everyone know when it's time to start. Bum, diddy, bum, diddy, bum, diddy, bum. All right, I played that slowly to demonstrate. When learning something new, we've often got to practice it slowly. But slowly can be cool, slowly can be fun, slowly can be beautiful, slowly can have life if we add some accents and try to add some emotion to it, not just try to beat ourselves up because we can't play, at the speed with which Jim Mills played or something like that, right? We can still make beautiful music and get better at the banjo whenever we're practicing slowly. All right, make sure to spike or capo your 5th string there at the 7th fret. If you don't have railroad spikes installed on your banjo, or if you don't have a 5th string capo, we can tune the 5th string up from G to an A. It's not going to break unless your strings are old or unless your banjo needs some repair. Should be fine. All right, form of this tune is A, A, B, B. We play through the A section twice, the B section twice, and that's once through the whole tune. For the most part, we're just using forward rolls and sticking really close to the melody, keeping it simple. We're also using some fill-ins, just some little like 5/1s in between melody notes. That's a good way to keep things moving, but stick close to the melody and not have things get too jumbled. For the most part, we're playing all out of this first inversion D shape. This is what people know as just the D chord shape, but really it's a first inversion shape. I'd encourage you to learn your common chord shapes. There's really just 3 of them, and you can check those out in TuneFox, and it's going to be really beneficial for you if you memorize the shapes and the pattern with which those shapes appear, so that you can instantly unlock all the different places you can play one chord on the banjo neck if you know where just one of those shapes is. For instance, here I know where this first inversion is, so I can find all these other shapes just because I know that pattern. So not a lot going on, but we still might need to do a little bit of finger preparation with our pick hand and with our fretting hand here. So a lot of the times I'm just going to have my fret hand honestly just on this chord ready to go, and then this ring finger is kind of hovering a lot over the 3rd and 4th string for any times that it might be needed there. Another thing is you can do, especially the thumb's going to move a lot from this like 3rd string up to this 5th. So anytime it needs to move up there, if we can move it up earlier and prepare it, that's going to be a good thing. It's going to help with our speed. It's something that'll be easier to be conscious of whenever you're practicing this really slow and probably doing it in pieces with the focus feature. All right, practice advice. Use those TuneFox tools. As I mentioned, the difficulty slider can make this thing even easier, which will make it more accessible for beginners, but it will also make it easier for other players to play this at really fast speeds. If you don't know where to start out in regards of the difficulty or the tempo settings, use the TuneFox Tutor. That will ask you some questions before you play and after you've played through a tune. And then based on your answers, it's going to make adjustments to the speed and the difficulty and help guide you through a practice session that will be tailored to your needs and your skill level. And if you're looking to speed up and get faster, we have a speed up feature that will kind of bump up the tempo just a hair after each playthrough. And that's a good way to try to increase your speed in small increments like that. Something else you might want to experiment that will give you a whole new sound is the swing feel. That's another TuneFox feature. So we can go from this even, straight timing feel to the swing timing. Here's what the straight timing sounds like. If I go to swing, it makes it dancey, it makes it fun. So I'm a big fan of that bouncy feel, and if you like the way that sounded, check out the swing feel in TuneFox whenever you're playing along with the player. So this arrangement doesn't have like a lot of rolls. It's not jam-packed, but there are some forward rolls, so you would benefit from just practicing up on your forward rolls here. All right, for the licks here, we have a really nice variety. We've got some Scruggs licks that show you how to incorporate some classic Scruggs style sounds. There's also some melodic licks that show you how to play the melody using this melodic style, and that's going to add a nice variety when incorporated with all your Scruggs style playing. If you want to get fancy, if you want to have some fun, check out some of the single string style licks as well. They've got some nice chromatic movement that adds a really fun and cool flavor into this arrangement of Angelina Baker. You know, and a lot of these licks are going to be very reusable because all they are doing is applying some kind of device like this chromatic movement, but just doing it in a way that just works with the D chord. It's not always necessarily a melodic variation that's tied to this particular tune. But even then, you know, a lot of the melodies that are in one tune we can use in another even to kind of quote that tune, kind of as like a little tease, as long as it fits with the chord of the moment and as long as it doesn't jumble up the rest of our playing. I mean, I could even play a little bit of Arkansas Traveler here in the first measure, just as one of those kind of teases and callbacks. Right, Arkansas Traveler is in D. The melody even starts on the same note, so I can just plop it right down there into the first measure. And we've got a really cool variation that will surely bring a few smiles at your local jam session. The Scruggs-ish lick is pretty cool. So I called it Scruggs-ish because it's really not using a typical Earl Scruggs riff, pattern, or technique, but it does incorporate some of the elements that are foundational to his playing, which are incorporating rolls, slides, and hammer-ons and pull-offs together to create like his unique signature sound. But I'm doing it at a spot on the neck that he was not known for doing. But it sounds cool. And again, we're using elements of the Scruggs style playing. So it does harken back to the man himself. So as I said, we're doing it in a way that's not typical of Scruggs. I'm adding in a lot of different hammers and slurs, but only doing it on this B string a little bit up the neck. And then using fourth, first, and fifth strings as drones. So it creates this really cool sound when we're in this G standard tuning and have the fifth string spiked in the key of D. That can just really, it works really well with Angelina Baker. Right, I use this a lot just throughout the whole B section. It sounds really great. And especially if you're accenting those melody notes that are on the B string, it's going to sound even better and bring even more life to this lick. So I'm just picking those a little bit harder with my first finger. All right, next steps. If you haven't already, make sure to memorize some backup. And then after you learn this lead, maybe even memorize the basic lead and practice switching between the backup and the lead, the Scruggs style, in time. So when you get to the end of your second time through the B section, the next time you start at the A, you're going to switch to backup. And the same thing whenever you come through the second B again, you go back and restart at the A, start back with your lead, because this is jam preparation. This is preparing to play with other people. Another good next step is just going to be to keep exploring the licks. Try to use them in context in this song. Make sure to practice them and listen to them well individually using the focus feature before playing them in context with Arkansas Traveler. But after you get them down and you see, you know, one lick works with a D chord, see if there's another song that has a D chord in it. There's definitely others, and see if you can pop that lick into one of those measures. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in the key of D, but the chord that one lick works with, if it works with that chord, it's going to work in another key too. So a good example again, Arkansas Traveler, also in the key of D, and both the first and third measures in Arkansas Traveler, it's just a D chord, just like with this song. So it's a good example of a song where we can take a lick that we learned from this tune and drop it in there. So I'm going to take the single string lick from measure 3 that we have here in Angelina Baker and put it in the third measure of Arkansas Traveler for the A section. All right, right, so with a little thinking and a little planning, we can take what we learn in one tune and apply it to others. All right, that's all we got here for this Scruggs style version of Angelina Baker. I hope you all enjoy it. Keep picking, stay tuned.